made a super high-tech quiz to practice note reading. Basically, I have 10 notes in all of the clefs, all of the important clefs, treble, bass, alto, and a bonus note as well. Choose one clef, the clef for the instrument that you're learning, or if you're playing an instrument that uses 2 clefs like piano, whichever one you're struggling with more, and try to figure out what the notes are for that particular clef. The biggest things that will help you are to remember where the note that the clef is named after is located. So treble clef is also called G clef, and the line that the clef circles around at the bottom, that circle surrounds the line that the note G is on. Bass clef is called F clef. There are 2 dots next to the clef, and on the line between those 2 dots is where the note F is. Alto clef is called C clef. Alto clef is basically made out of 2 backward Cs, and on the line right in the middle of the staff, right between those 2 backward Cs, is where the note C is. So memorize those notes, and then memorize the musical alphabet. The musical alphabet is the first 7 letters of the alphabet over and over and over again. So we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then instead of going on to H, we start over again at A. So let's say we have a note in treble clef. We know where the note G is. It's on that second line from the bottom of the staff. And let's say we want to find a note at the top of the staff. We know where G is, and we know our musical alphabet, so we can just count up from G. So on the space above G, we would have A. On the line above A, we would have B. On the space above B, we would have C. So I'll show the quiz on the screen, pause to complete it on a piece of paper, and then there are links in the description where you can skip to the particular part of the video that has the answers for that clef. And I'll go over them in detail. Let's go! So I've written out all our notes, and here are the answers. So the first one in treble clef should be the easiest, because if you remember, this circle surrounds the line that the note G is on. Then from here you can either count up from G, so if this is G, then this is A on the space above it, this is B on the line above A, and then this is C on the space above B. Or you can go to the space on the bottom, that's F, above it is A, then C, then E. It spells face in the spaces when we start from the bottom of the staff and then move up in treble clef. So this is a C. We can also use that same method to determine that this is an F. Or if you've memorized that this is a G, you just go down 1 note and that gives you F. To find out the name of the next note, you can go 1 up from G, 2 down from C, 2 up from F, use the FACE acronym, whatever makes sense for you. And then D's kind of tricky because it's below the staff. It might help to write out the musical alphabet and then just count down from G. So we know this is G, and it's on the space below, and then the line below, and then the space below that. So we can count down from G, 1, 2, 3, and that gives us D. And then we can use our answer from the previous square, just go down 1, and that gives us C. Or you can just memorize that C is the first ledger line below the staff in treble clef. Similarly, A is the first ledger line above the staff in treble clef. We can use this answer to determine that this is just 1 note below. 1 note below C is B. Hopefully at this point you're getting the hang of things. You can use any of your previous answers to count up or count down, or you can use the acronym for the lines. So the lines from the bottom to the top of the staff are E, G, B, D, F. Beautiful handwriting. Some people would say that's every good boy deserves fudge. You can make up something more interesting, but either way, that should help you figure out that this is D. And then these last 2 are just to make sure you're paying attention. So we know for a fact that the second line from the bottom of the staff is G, and we know our musical alphabet. So we can just count up from G to find any note. So G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So there's another G here. That puts us just above the staff, and then we have ledger lines. So we do the same thing, we just count them like staff lines. So the first ledger line is A, the space above that is B, next ledger line is C, space above that is D, and then the line above that is E. And then this note looks like it's only 1 note above the previous, so we can count up from here to determine that that is F. Basically, you can read any note in treble clef as long as you know that this is G, and as long as you know the musical alphabet. So even if we have a ledger line way up here, we can still count up from G and find out what the note is. If we have a ledger line way below the staff, we can count down from G and find the note. We can use the acronyms like FACE for the spaces, or Every Good Boy Deserves Fudge for the lines. I need to come up with something more interesting for that. However you can identify the notes works for now. You'll only get quicker at it as time goes by. Here are the answers for alto clef. So the easiest note to remember in alto clef, between these two backward C's, we have middle C. And it's actually the second note here. So this one is C. It's also right in the middle of the staff. Basically, to read any clef, if you know where the note that the clef is named after is, remember alto clef is also called C clef, then you can just count up or down from there using the musical alphabet. So the musical alphabet is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, repeating over and over and over. So this is C, and we go up 1 into the space, 2 into the line, 3 into the space, and then 4 into the line. So we know it goes C, D, E, F, G. So this note has to be G. I can explain that again with the next note. So we know that this one is C, so we go up 1, that's D, up 2, this is the line, that would make it E, and then up 3 gives us F. If we've memorized the names of these notes, then we can use it to find this note easier rather than just going up from C. So let's find the closest note to A. That would be our first note here, G. If you look, this one's on the top line, and this one is on the space above the staff. So they're very close together on the staff. So only one step above G is A. And now we still remember middle C, so we can go only up 1 from that, and we get D. So this is above the first ledger line above the staff. It's sitting on top of the line. So let's take the nearest note that we know, A. So A is right here. If there were a note directly on the line, that would be B, and above the line is C. For this next note, it's probably easiest to count down from C, so C, B, A. And then we can continue counting down from A. So this is A. Remember that the note below A is G, so this is G, F, E. The first ledger line below the staff is D. The next space below the staff is C, and so this ledger line right here is the note below C, which is B. And then we can count back up. If this is B, then this is C, and then this note is D. For this one that's pretty high above the staff, we can use a previous answer that was high above the staff. This is on the second space above the staff is C, so right here. So the next ledger line would be D, and the next space is E. And then for the next one, we only have to go up 1 from E, and up 1 from E is F. Really just memorize the musical alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Because if I put a note way up here, and I know that this is middle C, I can go C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. No matter how high or low the note is, I can always do that. But you do eventually memorize these notes that are directly on the staff, and those become easy. Now to bass clef, the okayest of all the clefs. Our answers in order are G, C, F, A, D, C, A, B, D, E, and then our bonus is A. So the way I started the other two answers was by finding the notes that the clef is named after. So bass clef is also called F clef, and we can find the F by tracing the line between these two dots, and we found it. So the third one here is F, and if we can memorize just that one note, we can find every other note just by using the musical alphabet. And remember, the musical alphabet is A through G, and then it repeats again at A. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, on and on and on. So our first note here is one step above F. So we can think what's one letter after F in the alphabet, and that gives us G. We can also count below F. So this note is 1, 2, 3 notes below F. So we can count 1, 2, 3 down in the alphabet and get C. It might help you when you're first doing this to actually just write out the musical alphabet and make these lines like I'm doing. To find this note, it'll probably be easiest to find the note that's closest to it. So which note out of these three is closest to this one on the staff? Well, it's this one. This is only 2 steps above this note. And we know that that one's C, so we count down 1, 2 below C, 1, 2, and that gives us A. And for our next note here, we can count only one step above C, which is D. Now we have our first ledger line note, so let's just use F as a reference and count up from that. So we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, up from F, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that gives us C. Or you can just memorize that the first ledger line above the staff in bass clef is C. Don't mind me, just changed the typo. So now for this one, we can count 2 down from C, 1, 2, 1, 2, and that gives us A, or we can go 2 up from F, 1, 2, 1, 2. They both give us A. And here we only have to go 1 above A, which is B. And then this one's kind of tricky. We can either make it easy on ourselves and take the lowest note that we know so far, which is A, and go down 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And that gives us D. Or if you're not yet comfortable with that, you can take F, which we know for sure, we're very solid on this note, and just count down a while from there. To find E, the easiest way is to memorize that the first ledger line above the staff is C, and then you go 2 up from there, and that gives you E. Or again, you can always just count up from F. And then our bonus note here, it's pretty far below the staff. It's basically just a lot of counting from the last note that you know. So we actually do know that 2 spaces below the staff, we have D. So that's right here, and we can count down from there. So this next ledger line is C, this next space is B, and then this next ledger line is 1 step below B, which is A. So this is a really low A. And that's it. I hope that was somewhat helpful. If you're very slow with this, but with patience you're able to consistently find the right name of the note, then that's a really good place to be right now. Regardless of how you're doing with it, just keep working at it. Good luck with it.